Welcome to Rewind the Podcast. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Rewind the Podcast.
Where Raven and Blake are drunk.
Low-key.
Y'all, for real. Okay, so you may have seen the video we did yesterday. We saw that Hannah and Paige are doing trying new things.
Oh, my God.
I said we're a little drunk.
Get it together.
And then tomorrow we've got something a little special. Y'all have heard me talk about how I was maybe or maybe not on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Spoiler alert, I was. And spoiler alert, Drew needs to keep her legs closed. So with all that being said, we had some drinks while we were filming those.
We did. It was fun.
If we're a little more loose-lipped today, you are welcome. Or we are in trouble.
Seriously, more like we are in trouble.
Before we get going, y'all say hi to producer Gabe.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
So what do we talk about? Me?
Let's talk about you. How was your well, no, let's tell them.
Oh, yeah.
We got to tell them. Y'all.
Okay, so next week we are going to next week we're going to have an episode because we give you an episode every week. That is who we are.
That's
we
one thing
see
you can
each
count
other.
us on for us.
Yes, it will be an evergreen episode, and you'll see the old studio because we will be.
We're going to the Met Gala. Okay, let's.
Well, kind of.
That was kind of clickbaity, but still. So I decided a while back. I was like, I need a vacation, so I was like, I'm gonna go to New York for a week, and I found out I was landing on Monday, the same night as the Met Gala, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go stand out there and scream at people, and then I told Gabe and Raven, and they were like, wait, should we go to New York? And so, following what we talked about last week, we are being
delusional.
We're being delusional. Do we think we'll get in? I don't know. I'm not going to say no because we're being delusional.
Sure.
But a party, an after party, maybe we'll meet somebody that's very much inspired us. Maybe we'll confirm our first celebrity guest on the pod.
Oh.
We don't know, but all we know is we are now all three going
to New York,
and we're gonna see what happens. So if you are involved with the Met Gala, because I will say, y'all, we have the highest, one of the highest cities viewing us.
Is New York?
Is New York City?
Hey,
and
New
listening.
York girlies.
Hello, my New York gays. But if you want to connect us, or if you want to say hey, show us a fun experience.
I will say this is what I think I'm gonna put out into the universe.
Put it out there.
So I think that
Safe flights.
Well, duh. Duh.
That's my thing.
You need to relax. But I would love to get like a press pass or like somehow be a part of the show. Obviously, we are very aware that we are building a following, but it would be nice to like just get a little bit closer than like
Standing across the street and screaming.
Exactly, from like a regular fan. But I will say, on top of us doing the Met Gala, we are going to film some more fun content that you'll see on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Paige and Hannah are trying new things, but Blake and Raven be doing stuff. So that's all I'm going to say. I've never been to New York City. I have always wanted to see Broadway. I want to try new things, and these two have, and they are going to show me around, and we are going to film it for y'all.
And it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, so if you're in New York, say hey and let us know, and if you're not, trying to kill us, we'll come hang.
Yeah, and if you know anybody who could get us into the Met Gala in any capacity.
Or an after party.
Let us know.
Let us know. Okay. Now, I want to hear about, you went home for a wedding, and you said you had something to tell me.
Okay, so yes, I went to Florence, Alabama, which is not my home.
Oh.
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Fact check,
which is
suddenly.
Different. But I went to Florence, Alabama for a wedding of one of my really close friends, Michael, and his bride, Charlie Beth. It was a beautiful ceremony. Everything was great. Food was great. Drinks were great. Vibes were great.
The vibes.
It's so nice getting to like visit with my friends. So before I moved to Nashville, I had this big group of friends in Birmingham, and we would always practically lived at each other's houses. We all lived in the same apartment complex, so it was just like constant togetherness. And now everyone's moved on, and Allie and Hayden are in Atlanta. I'm here. Jake and Luke are in North Carolina. P and Nick are in Birmingham. Mal's in Birmingham. Like, everyone's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So it was nice for everyone to come together and snuggle in bed together and giggle and goss, and it was great.
That's like the fun of, I guess, like being an adult is like you do have to move. It's not like college where you're all right there. And so like seeing each other, you do have to make that effort.
Seriously.
And it's like a little not to be personal, I'm not gonna cry, don't worry. It is a little bittersweet.
It was like we were leaving and we were all like, wait, we're like really sad.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was excited to come back because of this and we have y'all and like that part's like great, but it was like it just felt like the old days for just a minute. And it was so good to see everybody, and we had such a good time.
Yeah. They will say that encourages the saying, pain makes you realize that there is beauty and you have to leave it behind.
Okay, that was dramatic, but thank you so much for that. So another fun thing we got to do.
Strip club.
Nope. We went to the Fame Recording Studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Roll Tide.
Woo.
Okay,
is that where Lady Gaga dropped her album?
No,
The
but
Fame?
that is where Fleetwood Mac recorded their album.
Oh.
It's where Aretha Franklin recorded her album.
Wait. The Fame. There's a documentary on this.
Correct.
Okay, I was being a smartass before. I've seen this documentary, that huge soundboard.
It is, y'all.
In Florence?
In Florence, Alabama.
Okay.
I know. Demi
Work.
Lovato recorded there. Jennifer Hudson came through when she was doing the Aretha movie. Y'all, okay, so we got the VIP experience. We paid for the VIP experience. Our tour guide, Jackson, was precious and adorable. I'm pretty sure he's Rick Hall's grandson. And the reason I'm having a hard time remembering his name is the sweet guy who did the tour calls him Peepaw because
Aw.
it's his grandpa.
Oh.
Let me tell you one thing about me.
Okay.
I love a museum.
She does. She's reading them plaques.
I love a placard. I touched everything in that museum.
You are an auntie.
He was like, this is the piano Little Richard recorded on. And I'm like, you're about to watch me press these keys.
I was going to say you're going to do chopsticks. Dun, 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 dun.
I touched every little thing. He was like, oh, this is the soundboard we used when Aretha Franklin recorded this, or this is this and that. Bling. In the office, he was like, this is the chair Jennifer Hudson sat in for her interviews for Aretha. I'm touching the chair. The way I touched all them people's stuff. I'm sorry, Jackson. I have to admit here today in front of God and everybody, I don't know if you're not supposed to touch it, but I touched it.
She said, I touched that Jennifer Hudson chair. I could almost taste that nasty Louis Vuitton she got in Sex and the City.
It was so great. If you're ever in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and you're a music lover, especially music from the 60s, 70s, you have to go to Fame Recording Studio, ask for Jackson as a tour guide, get a ticket. It was one of the best. We were geeking out.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I mean, Allison, my friend Allison, every room we went into, she was like, was Stevie Nicks in here? They were like, yes, girl, dang.
I love that. So lesbian coded.
And she's a lesbian.
I'm telling you what.
But it was so great. I encourage everyone to go. Fantastic. And we're going to tag them.
Okay.
But yeah, so please go. It was so great. You'll love it.
Hell yeah. Okay, slay.
What'd you do this weekend?
Okay, what did I do this weekend? Oh, I had shows. I had rent change, all up through the thing. And, man, a lot of money. Sorry, this is just the tea.
Go ahead.
And then
Woo-hoo.
Saturday, I laid. I've been so busy. I've got all my jobs. And I just got to lay, and I got to go to a game night. And I was like, this is what normal
Who'd you go to game
people
night
do.
with?
Our ranch hands friends.
Oh.
Yeah. And then on Monday, me and Gabe went and saw the worst movie we have ever laid eyes on. It was called The Legend of Ochi, and it was some weird art A24 film. We would love to work with you, A24. We love you.
Love
But
A24.
a broken clock is right twice a day, and by that, I mean you can have two stinkers, and that was a stinker.
Was it? You didn't like it either?
I liked the idea of it. I just don't think it translated well enough.
You could tell they went into the room and said, let's try and make a 2025 ET.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very puppet-based. Me and Gabe looked at each other and we said, this would have been good on an edible. So
Next time.
yeah, so that's all we did. But we've had.
Did you miss me?
I had a great weekend too. Thanks for asking.
Gabe, how was your weekend?
Raven, that is so nice of you to check up on me. Friday I had a date.
Oh.
Saturday I rotted in bed all day.
Okay.
Sunday I had another date.
Same guy, different guy?
Same guy.
Oh.
And Sunday night I was with Blake.
Third date, and he got it in.
Okay. Did you miss me?
I did. Why?
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I always miss you. Oh, because I cried once, you can start asking me? Sweet Lord. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
All right, let's get going.
And I'm hot. Are you not hot?
It's hot.
This one over here, He's acting like he's in an igloo. I don't get it.
Speaking of heat, how about the Mississippi heat? Sinners.
Oh, girl.
The way we went.
That flew. I forgot. I was like, did we
Did we
in
go
the
to
same
Mississippi?
meeting?
No, I was thinking of Mississippi Heat, and I was like, no, that's the Miami Heat. Okay, yes, true. I finally got to see Traitors, and y'all.
You mean Sinners?
What did I say?
Traitors.
I saw them both. I got to see Sinners, and it was just as good as Raven said, and I have some thoughts. First things first.
Are you ready to talk about it now?
I'm ready to talk about it.
Okay.
First things first, 9 out of 10.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Now, for real, if you hadn't seen this movie by now, what are you doing?
If I had a weekend off, you had time.
Like, you need to go.
Yeah, for real. I will say, even now, we went to the movies last night, still packed, almost sold out.
100%.
Yes.
I want to see it in IMAX.
I saw it in IMAX.
Did
and
you?
It was about this hot, but it was good.
See,
it was made for IMAX.
Have you seen the videos of Ryan Coogler describing the IMAX experience?
No.
Oh, I have to send it to you. Y'all, for real, go search it. He is such a freaking genius. He's so good at his job. He's just phenomenal.
Before we get into the plot, I want to talk about this, the black dollar. I want to talk about the black dollar.
Speak on it, Black Queen.
You know, I'm 1/18th Nigerian. No, I'm not. I'm 1/18th Mississippian. The first things first, it's not equivalent in this sense, but like the gay dollar, we have money to spend, and when you give us something good, we will spend it, and not at the expense of trauma, not at the expense of like, oh, we need to fill this space, put a black queen or a gay queen or a queen in there, and made well, and we will get everybody to see it.
Yeah.
When I'm telling you, I went with Gabe and our friend Steven. Oh, I forgot who it was. Sorry. I love you, Steven. We went together, and I looked around in our theater, and I said, this place is full of black people and gays. This is an episode of Rewind the Podcast.
Was it?
Yes. I was like, I'm expecting Raven to come out and someone to hand us mics. It was, but the movie was so
Wasn't
good.
it amazing?
Yes.
Okay, now that you've seen it.
Now that we've seen it.
Did you see what I mean about the scene now with the music?
Yes. And how would they all, like each ancestor, spoiler alert, each ancestor dances around each person. And I've seen it twice already.
Oh, wow.
And the second time I was very like following it. And I was like, oh, that is intense.
Yes, I literally could have cried. I could cry thinking about it. I'm not going to because like who cries on camera?
Bitches.
But I still, I cannot wait to see it again. Now let's get into the deeper plots.
Let's get into the plots.
Okay. One thing that I want to talk about is, what's the white girl? What's Haley Steinfeld name? Mary.
Mary's
been getting a lot of smoke on the internet.
Has she really?
About...
Is it that one line?
No.
Oh.
I mean the character Mary. You know.
No, but there's a specific line
you
that
stick your tongue in my coos and made wanted to F me all night so good or whatever she said.
She said that, and I did look at Gabe, and I said, this is not Pitch Perfect. No, that part where she looks at
Sammy.
When she's talking with Sammy, and she goes, boy, if you don't get the out of my face. And everybody, they're 50-50 on that, because they're like, oh, she went full auntie, like, the 1/8 came out or whatever, and somebody was like, no, this was basically, what is it called? Like,
I know what you mean.
It was basically like her whiteness coming in and being like, no, I still get to tell you what to do.
No, I took it as the first one.
The auntie coming out?
I took it as like she's been so embedded into the community that like how she sees herself is not how the world sees her, because she's white passing.
That's what I was looking for.
And so she's now married a white man and is fully living a life as a white woman, but her roots, who she is, her culture is with us because that's where she grew up. So I didn't take it that way, but I will say the views of white privilege for her having the best intentions of using her white privilege for good.
To go talk to the...
yes. And then it's still ending in a negative, I thought was very poignant. I also felt she got a lot of smoke for how she handled the whole situation, but I also felt like Stack should get more smoke.
See, I've seen that take. It's like you wanted what she had so much, kind of. Or you wanted, like, the easiness of life. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't take it that way, but I do hear you.
Okay, what's your take?
I respectfully, black men have a tendency to let white women into our culture far too often and into our stuff far too often.
Now are you saying our black women or black culture?
People.
Gotcha.
But I feel like they're respectfully, I love black men. I think you're wonderful and amazing and should be protected at all costs. Okay. They are terrible gatekeepers of our culture and what the things that are ours. And to me, that was just another example of that. Like, I see why he was like, oh, we're going to use her privilege to get something that we need. But at the same time, that was not her place. Mm-hmm. And when she asked him, do you want me to go do this? He should have said no.
Yeah, because everybody at first, they were trying to get Mary out of there. Mm-hmm. And then, but at that point, he was the only one that said, yeah, you go. And nobody else knew what she was doing.
Exactly. And I felt like that was very poignant. Mm-hmm. And I also thought that my friend Drew, he told me I had to give him credit because he had all of this great insight.
Come on, Drew.
He was saying how they really foreshadowed that moment because in the beginning, I think it was the black, I can't remember the black man's name, but he was like, Stack can never watch his own back. Like he.
Oh, the drunk guy?
Yes. Okay. He was like, or it was either him or the big guy. I can't remember. He was like, he can't watch his own back. And that's exactly what happened because he got
cornbread.
Cornbread.
Yes.
Always cornbread.
It's always cornbread. I will say cornbread cracked me up. And so he's like, let me in. What are we supposed to be doing? Being kind to one another. I was like, the gaslighting. Now, I will say the big takeaway, like, obviously you had themes there, race, class, all that kind of stuff. One of the big ones I saw online, this girl was talking about it, and I've talked about deconstruction in the church. We talk about that a lot here. Was the first time I saw it, and the dad, the pastor, looked at his son and he said, if you go mess with the devil, one day he gonna follow you home. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sent chills up my spine. Mm-hmm. Not to get all trauma dumpy, but there's things about my own life coming out that people try to say about me and things like that. Anyways, but this lady, and I'm sorry I did not get your name on Instagram. She did a reel, and she's a singer.
Oh.
And she's like, I've gone around the world. And she said, this imagery that Ryan made of this boy has a gift. He's grown up in the church, but when he doesn't want to use it specifically for the church, it's immediately evil, the devil, and all these bad things. And suddenly the dad is scared of the devil. And she said, why as Christians are you always so afraid of the devil?
That's a good point.
You have the ultimate light and guide and the Holy Spirit inside of you. And the one thing you can always focus on is how bad the devil is. And she pointed it to her own experience. She said, I've been around the world. There was a line she wrote in one of her songs. If y'all know who I'm talking about, please tag her. And if we find out, we're going to tag you too. But she said, the deepest church she ever did was exchanging souls with people around the world, something to that regard. Yeah. And she pointed it back to the movie, and she said they are so big on being scared of the devil when they have the ultimate light inside of them. And the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, I kind of see that, because even when he goes back, he's still like, you need to let go of that guitar. It's just wild. It's not because in the movie, he's getting into other things.
100%.
It had nothing to do with the music. The music was the core point. That's why the people wanted him. So this was his gift either way. So I thought that was really cool.
Speak on it. Christina Brown, Miss Xtina B, I think is her name on the handles. First of all, she is so fine. Respectfully. Every time I see her, I'm like, you really just out here looking like this?
Yes, come on.
Being fine and brown and
acting
gorgeous.
Like that roommate auntie right now.
But she made a good point so there's this conversation about Black Americans. Obviously, we had a spiritual situation before we were brought here and learned about the white man's Christianity, to be frank.
Yeah.
There was a connection to our ancestors. There were things that we did that, had thousands of years of generations of spirituality. And when we were brought here, we were taught that all of that was demonic. Okay. And that all of that was against the will of God. And there is a subset of people who are really leaning into things of our ancestors spiritually that still identify as Christian.
Okay.
And she made a good point that the one thing that he was saying, which was the music, that's what they wanted him for, was because he could bring in the ancestors. It was his strength. And the thing that his father was saying was the devil and going to destroy him ended up being the thing that saved him, which was his guitar. And so there's this imagery of course, as a Christian, I have a full faith in Jesus Christ, and I'm grateful for the Savior and his sacrifice. But there is still a part of my culture and my ancestors that I would like to explore. I would like to understand better the ways that they were spiritual before we were brought here.
Yeah.
And I thought Ryan Coogler did a beautiful job of the imagery of both and bringing them all together. I thought was fantastic.
To play off of that, there was an interview with Ryan, and then I can't remember his name, but the guy that played the evil vampire, and doing with religion and how the evil vampire, Jack O'Connell, fine man. Anyways, sorry. But he was saying that, so he was originally from Ireland, and the whole part of Ireland, they used to be pagan, and then Christianity came and completely changed the religion. And that's why when they're in the river, and he was like, oh, I know that prayer as well. And Remick is coming from the point, especially when he's like, I'm like you, I can save you, this happened to me. In his mind, he's thinking oh, this happened to me, I'm going to do the same for these group of people who are marginalized, whatever. But then he becomes, he's basically doing the same thing that was done to him. And in his mind, he's justifying as oh, I'm helping you guys. And he doesn't realize he is the thing that he feared.
Yeah. And that's my favorite thing about Remick as a villain, and I think that Ryan did such a good job of depicting, is I love a villain who's not all good, not all evil. And the root of why he wanted to do this was so that people could stay together forever.
Yeah.
So that families and, you could always do either way. It wasn't all evil. Yes, it took a turn. But that's not, it's a very human thing to want to never be disconnected from your people. But with that being said, I think the overarching part of African, ancestry and heritage and all that is the idea of the ancestors and being reunited with the ancestors. He was giving them something they already had.
Yeah. I will say the last symbolism thing I really took was you see all this, for lack of a better term, black music, inspired the ancestor, the song. And then when the three vampires come up to the door and they're like, we play a little too. And we've had these grooves, it's deep soul. And he's like, we're going to pick you apart. Da, 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 da. And it was this Patsy Cline ass thing, which I love Patsy Cline, but still.
Okay.
But it was it's almost like you were made to see this ain't for you. That you always say. But I had no, we saw it with our friend Esai. He was the one who pointed it out. When they're in the big thing and they all go out there and they're doing the Irish jig and he's like, oh, da hoya, hoya, and they're doing all that. Esai looked and he goes, I know they're evil, but they ate that up. And I was
they really did.
They did, and it gave the point, and I've seen this online too. It was they did their thing very well. These people do this thing very well. That just because you both do it very well does not mean you have to share it and do that. Now, I'm not being let's segregate, but it's just you don't have to say, I like what you have and I want all of it.
Exactly. You are the individualism of it. It was fire. I ain't gonna hold you. I was it really was the music was fantastic in the whole movie. But it's so true. The last thing.
Tell me.
The love story between Smoke and Annie.
Yes. Did it get you?
Touched me. One thing did stick out to me, and I had this thought, and then I saw it on Instagram, and it validated the thought I already had. We were not told that they were love interests prior to the movie starting. We were told the only love interest was the Haley Steinfeld character. I think that was intentional.
Okay.
I think because, first of all, she's beautiful, so hear my words. Gorgeous. But she is a plus-size, dark-skinned Black woman. And it's not often that women who look like us get to play the love interest. And so after the movie comes out, then we get the poster of the couples.
Yeah.
And then you get to see the love story between them. I thought it was so beautifully portrayed that not only was it like a comfort that she was to him, but a lust.
Yeah.
Like he wanted her when she grabbed his.
She said, "I still make your body quiver," or whatever she says.
I
Yes.
said,
And he did her right there in her little shack, her little store. And I said, "You better work."
But I thought it was so. It was something healing about seeing that kind of love on screen, too. And seeing her be viewed as desirable. Also, her character being the leader of the group. And
The hero.
And no one questioning her.
Yes.
When she was like, nah, this is what this is and this is what we're doing, they were like, yeah, you know, you're probably right.
Yeah.
It wasn't this like, well, are you sure? Do you think? Like, she stood in her power, and in the end, she got the fate that she wanted, and she got to be reunited with her baby and her family.
That scene, when I tell you, I was about to boo-hoo.
Oh,
And he's like seeing into the other side.
And my last part, the most gangster part of the movie.
The KKK, baby.
Like, not him coming back from the other side of the veil to make sure he was dead to go back over there.
He said, "I'll be here in a minute, heaven. I got to tell you something." Pop, pop, boom. Now let me hold the baby.
Exactly. It was so gangster. It was so like, yeah, you should have shot them in the head. Oh, that's probably inappropriate to on YouTube.
Yeah, well, you know, you should have.
Pew-pewed them.
That's not the head.
You should have pew-pewed.
But yes, I both times I saw it, and when it got to that part, I was like, T, boots, house. Like, it's just last year when those little people decided they wanted to walk up and down Broadway with their mask on because you're just so brave. Let me tell you what.
Let's leave it there.
Let's leave it there.
I will say, too, the fact that we find out that they are going to kill him the whole time. They were plotting to kill him the entire time.
You know what it gave? Black Wall Street.
That's what I was going to say. It gives all of those Black thriving cities that they snuffed out and destroyed. And it was, even though it was a fictional character, it felt like, this is bad, but good to see. Like, good to see. No, I'm not going to say that. That's rude.
I get it. I get what you're saying. We see each other.
We see each other.
We good. And we all keep saying the last thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I have family in Mississippi. Love you all. Mean it. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Not the most well off. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
And one day I asked my aunt. I said, "What have we always been in Mississippi? Like, how did we get here?" And she. Now I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't really remember. But she said something. We migrated. I don't know. We're from somewhere. Potato famine. I don't know. We got to South Carolina. And apparently we were set up there like kind of on the beach. And I was like, beach, okay. And then she said, and then your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather something was run out of town because he lynched a man. I said, oh, that's what we get. That's why everybody over there is poor. And then she said, and then we moved to Texas. And then that aunt and like, you know, the people who live in Texas now, they were like, we don't say the N-word. We don't do this. We're going to do every equality. And I said, and that's why we thrive. Tell you what, I might cut all that. But I was just like, you can change your history.
You can. You really can. And I think with that being said, we talk about generational trauma and how it can change your genetics. And people are studying like PTSD among Black Americans that is rooted back to slavery.
I love when you talk about that sounded creepy. I don't mean it like that, but like when you're saying like they go to school and they're like, he's so smart. No, he's not. That kind of thing.
That kind of thing. You really do be listening when I talk.
I still need to listen. I still need to look up who the Gola people are. But I don't know it all.
That was a good callback. That was funny.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch last week.
But yes, they talk about how trauma can change your genetics and how like people in my generation genetically are changed from slavery. And respectfully to the whites that are in this room and to the whites here on the world, I think it's not wise to think that we are changed, but y'all aren't.
What do you mean?
I think that if there is a negative effect for us, being the people traumatized and brutalized our ancestors, I think there is also a negative effect, and I'm not a scientist or a philosopher or a psychologist.
But you be knowing.
But there has to be some type of genetic trauma being a descendant from people who committed those kind of acts. Does that make sense?
But also, is it always a trauma? Because look at half of our country right now doing MAGA. And they own that genetic disposition. And they say, we don't care what you have as long as we have the most.
That's for somebody smarter than me to figure out.
Yeah, for that, you're going to have to go listen to Gin and Juice. And I'm not a lawyer, but
I'm
Melanie
not a lawyer,
Goolsby.
but we talk about them every episode.
We do.
That's funny.
We need to merge a Disney Channel classic.
We should.
Oh my gosh, Gin and Juice. Invite us on the pod. You can come on ours. It's a little hot in the studio today.
We could do a whole thing.
Kev on stage. If I could have a lunch with you, the questions I would ask, but I know you don't like meet and greet, so it's fine.
Also, Giggly Squad girls.
Yeah.
Hey.
Also, Paris Hilton and Jonathan Bailey. If we're just naming people, we're being delusional. Okay.
Okay.
The movie was good. Please go see it. We should probably move on along.
Who is hot?
It is. Oh, where's my clacker?
Moving
It's
on
the wall.
along.
It's almost as hot as summer.
These transitions today
Gabe is
are
really
wild.
doing it. Gabe is really doing it.
Okay,
What is this, Summer
moving
House?
on to Summer House. Did you watch?
I did watch, and I have some thoughts.
Tell me what happened.
Do you think I'm always kidding now when I say that, though?
Honestly, you lie so much, I'm not sure.
That was ugly, and it's not true. I entertain a lot. I did watch Summer House, and I agree with Paige. Lexi, if you cannot trust this man, dump him. Dump him. Also, who watches porn of tan lines? I really be watching. I will say this, though. I like Jesse. Carl is my new man.
I told you.
Y'all did tell me.
I already know.
Because he's nerdy. Jesse just still has a little punk to him.
Yeah.
Carl, I'm like, I want to hold
like
you like this.
Refined.
Yes.
I will say, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum.
Mm-hmm.
You better like your tan line pornography, Carl.
do.
Like Wes said, he was like, that is so Carl.
Yeah.
It really is. Like that would be what you type in your search engine.
Tan lines.
I'll also ask people that at bars all the time.
What do you look up on porn?
Mm-hmm. That's like my you first meet somebody and you don't really know them and everyone's drinking. That's my go-to, what do you type in the search engine?
Did I tell you that what Gabe told me?
I already know what you're going to say.
Yes. I will not.
Are you going to say
I
it?
will not say who it is.
Okay.
But let's just say gay people, we be doing stuff. And I found out someone I knew in college was doing the PORN. No
Really?
shade.
Sex work is work.
But when I say, oh, this was a person I did brunch with and I really enjoyed, and then I saw him getting mowed down like he was a tall grass in the Oklahoma heat, I said, you better work.
I just don't know if I could watch my friends be intimate. I think that is so weird.
It's because you're not in the gay world. Not that makes it any better. Yeah. We're just men and rotted.
Yeah.
And
not yeah.
They get it.
I think you're all great.
They get it. But I said, oh my gosh, that can't be true. Let me see it. It's like that kind of thing.
Did you watch it?
I saw bits and pieces, literally. Okay. But I was like, oh my gosh, you better work. He looks very different now, but he got his ass ate. So I hope the payday was worth it. But anyways, all that to say,
back to Summer House.
You can't yuck anyone's yum.
No, but I thought it was such a fun, cute little moment between the boys. Mm-hmm. It was very much like they were in high school. I'm like, y'all are grown
Who
men.
do you look up?
Yeah, but I was like, also I be asking.
Meanwhile, the girls are throwing a slumber party and they're on the bed like.
I know, hotties.
I was like, work. Literally.
Sierra.
She's that girl. I will say this because I watched Traders First, and I say it probably every week. She did not eat on that show. They came after her. She tried to defend it, but the fight wasn't very strong on this show. Work.
She looks so good. The girls, the perfect party theme.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like you would act like that if somebody Jesse'd you'd like that. That's his name, right, Jesse? Mm-hmm. If somebody Jesse'd you'd like that, you'd be like, oh, okay, what's up?
No, I will never talk to you again.
That's what
my
I'm
thing.
saying.
Oh, wherever you pitch the tent is where I bring the circus.
Exactly.
Because the way he played in her face, what up, bro? That's all you're going to get from me. Because you're not going to, first of all.
He's like, why is she fist bumping me?
Because
after
you tried to make her
suck her toe.
One, you already making Lexi look crazy. Sorry. Okay. At first, I was like, Lexi, whatever. Now, I'm kind of like, Jesse's the problem. He is the problem. He says one thing to her, another thing to the girls, and for all of you who were like, Paige and Amanda and Sierra aren't girls. They told her what it was.
They were sitting there at the snooze fest.
And they were like, if that was my boyfriend, I would strangle him. And that is what she needed to hear.
Yeah. Do you think they'll break up?
Oh, duh.
When is the season
They've
finale?
known each other for 5 minutes.
See, now I'm getting to that point. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I still think that's dumb, but yeah.
They've known each other for 5 minutes. He barely, and like Wes was like, you barely know this girl. Why are y'all having so many problems?
Yeah.
Also, awkward for him to for her to call Jesse out in front of Wes like that.
Oh, yeah.
So uncomfortable.
That was weird.
Because he looked like, I want to be anywhere but here.
Yeah. I will say this. You love West.
We love Wes.
Y'all love West. Y'all think he's the cutest one?
Yeah.
I have friends at the office place I work. They all think West is the cutest.
He's so funny.
He's like adorable to me. He's not the hottest. To me, Carl is the hottest.
I think Jesse's the hottest. I think West is the sexiest.
The thing is with West, he's also he's very progressive. He did an interview and he talked about women's rights, gay rights, people of color, all of that. It's just he knows can be the
He's hot right now.
yeah, and he knows it, and that's what I'm like.
From who I've seen right now, it goes Carl, Jesse, Kyle, West, Emerald. But I've only seen one episode of Emerald, and when he had the legs up for anybody who walked through that
Emerald's
door.
really good looking.
He is very good looking, but I haven't seen him enough.
I think he's more good looking than Kyle, personally.
Okay.
But I also like I don't like blonde haired people typically.
Yeah.
No shade. I'm just not usually attracted to blonde
You're not a
people.
blondie girl.
No.
You're more of a Pat Benatar. Let's move on.
Okay.
Would you date me?
Shut up. What's the next topic?
We didn't do this last week because we were really talking, but what is on your For You page?
So the NFL Sports Girlies.
Sports girly. Pew, 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 pew.
So the NFL draft
Is upon us.
is upon us. And so first, before we get into the tea of it all, I want to congratulate a few people.
Can I talk about this while you look that up? It has to do with the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles were invited to the White House.
That's what I want to talk. Don't stop taking my stuff.
I forgot. I thought you forgot.
You're so rude.
No, I'm making sure you get it. I'm trying to be your teammate here. I'm trying to be your co-pilot.
No, you're trying to steal.
No.
Just like you always do.
Excuse me. That was my ancestors, not me.
I'm just kidding. Okay. I want to say congratulations to Cam Ward, who was the first all-around draft pick of the 2025 NFL draft.
Oh, so it's happening.
Oh, it's happened.
Oh.
We're reading this thing.
Oh, okay.
Next, Travis Hunter, who I absolutely adore, with number 2.
As we expected.
Did you
Yes.
expect?
Yeah.
I really thought he was going to go number 1. But I'm happy. That's so great. I'm so happy for them. I'm happy for all the Alabama boys who went. Congrats. Now let's get to the tea.
Now let's get to the tea. Because this, I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Shador Sanders.
Shador Sanders and that little boy from the Falcons.
Well, I have 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
Let's start with the first part. Shador.
This is part 1.
Oh, I thought you were
raising my hand.
I was, or telling him something. I'm like, what's happening?
Oh,
no. Shador was originally supposed to go. Okay. Did I ever think he was a first-round draft pick? No.
No.
Second round, maybe. Third round, possibly. He went in the 5th round.
And how many people do you have to go through to get to the 5th?
A lot.
More than 100?
So in the 5th round, he went 144th.
Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of people.
And he's good. And so allegedly, people are speculating there's a few reasons why he did not go number 1 or not in the 1st or 2nd round. One being his dad, Deion Sanders, who is the head coach in Colorado, made it very clear what teams he did not want to see his son go to.
Okay.
Publicly.
Was that controversial?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is wildly inappropriate. And the second thing is that the word on the street, allegedly, is that he did not interview well.
Shador.
That he seemed very entitled and that he kind of came into it talking about things that aren't typical of someone at this stage in their career.
Like the New Yorker says, he has his mother's eyes and his father's agent.
And that's what I'm saying. And I feel I'm of two minds. On one hand, I want to also raise very entitled, pompous Black children.
Okay.
Who think that they deserve everything.
Riddle me this: when you called Megan, I almost said
I
Megan
know,
Trainor.
people were pissed about that.
When you called Megan Sussex pompous, our commenters did not
I know,
like
I
that.
saw that.
How do you view pompous?
I mean, yes, of course, there's a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
But I also think that when we're talking about it in the context of what I'm saying, I think that maybe I'll change it. Not pompous, elitist. Also a negative connotation.
Also a negative connotation.
But that's what I said what I meant, and I meant what I said, and I'll add more to it before I take it back.
Don't take it back.
Because I said what I said.
You said it.
I
said what I said. Yes, you're saying either way, they both get to talk their shit and they get to stand in it, and don't you apologize to anybody for how you are.
And that's what it is. And you can be Black and think you're better than other people.
Mm-hmm. If you are going to be Brad, Chad, Thad, or Tad, and you say, I'll just call my dad.
Exactly.
Those were bars right there. Looking down on these gay people, but I ain't homophobic.
Okay, that's enough. Bars for tonight.
I came up with that when I was on the rooftop at a gay party the other day.
But yeah, like, I said what I said.
Yeah.
And you can not like it. That's okay.
But keep subscribing and leave us 5 stars and a review.
But yeah, okay, so enough of that.
Yeah.
On to the TT.
The T.
TT.
Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to TPAC to see MJ the musical this week.
Me
I'm
too.
so excited.
I have
yeah.
ticket. I'm a season ticket holder.
Same.
Okay. The ADHD loop that we
it's the alcohol.
The ADHD mixed with the liquor.
It's time to try.
It's getting crazy in here. It's also 10 o'clock at night and we're exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. The Atlanta Falcons, I think he's head coach maybe? His son.
Yeah, like the defense coach maybe?
Yeah, maybe defensive coordinator. I don't know. Who cares? That's not the point. Allegedly. He found Shador Sanders' phone number, he being the son of this man, on his dad's iPad. Mm-hmm. Shador got a burner phone for the NFL draft, probably for this reason. So the only people who had that phone number were people in the NFL.
Because this is my question. This is the story I knew that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Are you saying it's like if this phone rings, I'm going to the NFL?
Correct.
Okay. Because I know there's controversy around it, and I'll let you explain, but I saw the clip, but tell the people in case they don't even know what's going on.
Yes. So he had a phone that was specifically for this purpose, which means I'm going to the NFL.
The Paris Hilton Razor.
Correct. This young man, found the phone number on his dad's iPad and thought it'd be a great idea to prank call Shador Sanders on one of the biggest days of his life and pretend as if he's getting drafted when he was not. He's recently apologized and has seen the error of his ways. The Atlanta Falcons put out a statement saying that they've also apologized to Shador personally and publicly, that the number was essentially stolen from his dad, and that they're continuing an investigation. Thoughts?
So I saw the video, and you know, I joke about being a sports girly. All that, please. I asked what quarter we were in for the NFL. That's not the case. It's innings. Let's move on. That just proves. So I saw the video, and it looks like they called and they were like, "Hey," and then hung up. Did they say anything?
No, I think they
I think I may have seen an edited version.
I think they pretended to be like,
"Hey man, it's time."
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't even think I saw them dialing, and then what I saw it cut, and they were like, "Ooh, that was crazy," and I was like, "Not y'all calling and hearing hello," and then being like, "Hee hee." I didn't know if they were doing, "Is your refrigerator running?"
Yeah, I don't know the details. Y'all put in the comments what the details of the call was.
Yeah.
But people were pissed. Okay, so there's people who are like, that's wildly disrespectful. It's not the time to play. It's not the time to be funny. This is his life and his career. He's worked really hard for this. This is not appropriate. And then there's people who are like, it's a joke.
Yeah. They're just kids. They're just kids. You didn't say the same thing to Trayvon Martin.
Or Tamir Rice.
Or Brianna Brianna.
I don't think she was a real adult.
They still didn't say it to her.
It's true.
And I'm not trying to make light of that.
No, that's true though.
But I will say that they're just a couple rich kids having fun. They have the world at their fingertips, but they got bored. And that's what I don't like. I used to work in a country club. I can unload that trauma real quick. So we're not going to do that. We're going to move. We're going to skip right along. There should when I say there should be consequence, like you can't send them to jail.
Well, no.
But you're also invading their privacy.
Also, unfortunately, I blame the dad.
Mm-hmm.
You knew your kid was bad. You know him better than we do.
This is the argument, should the dad lose his job?
Losing his job feels steep.
Because if the dad was a doctor and they got the number, and like say Hillary Duff, he was an OBGYN, they got Hillary Duff's number and called and said, "Sing, come clean," and hung up, that dad would be fired.
100%. But I think this man takes care of his family. This is how he feeds his children. I think fired. Do I think he should have to like pay a fine or like there should be consequences on all ends? Mm-hmm. I think firing people is a little too far for like a kid, for like your kids. Adult child though, because this kid's in college. Like I think he's a freshman in college.
Yeah.
So like old enough to know better. But I think firing's a little steep, personally.
It's like if you don't know the person, who's prank calling people?
That's wild.
I just don't know. And I see why people are annoyed. Now, granted, is it the worst thing to ever happen in the world? No. So it's like one of those things where it's like we're always devil's advocating. It's like, well, I see this side, but I think on the other end, I see it more from the class side of it. I'm like, you are a rich kid and you have the world at your fingertips. Don't be calling prank people for fun.
Yeah,
prank people.
Yeah, and the devil don't need no advocates, so he need his tail popped.
Yeah. Now people will disagree with you on that.
I disagree. Let's move on along.
I want to talk to you about what's been on my For You page.
Tell me.
It has to do with black people.
Shocker.
What does that even mean?
You stay on our side of the internet.
I do, but I don't. I keep up. I don't comment.
You don't. Yes.
I'm not married.
You are.
I don't
not
think
married.
I can help y'all. I know I can't because y'all are way funnier than me. Anyways, shut up. There's this couple. Gabe, you're gonna have to help me with the names. There's this couple. They are. Is he like a baseball player? Or
So
something?
it's Jalen Noble and Monet. He's from Love Is Blind.
Love Island.
Love Island, like season 2 or something like that. And then she, I think, is like an influencer. He is half white, half black, and she's half Puerto Rican, half black.
Okay.
So apparently they bought a house.
Good for them.
And there was this like shed farm looking thing outside that they converted into a gym. Now the internet, the streets were saying that it was old slave quarters. And the first video they posted, they're like, it's our gym, they're working out together, blah, blah, blah. And the original one was like, he built this gym for himself more than he built it for her. And it's like, okay, whatever. But then the comments started rolling in saying, these were old slave quarters and y'all have made a gym. Now, my question is, I've seen two sides of the internet, but I feel like I know which sides are which, so I'm going to say it like that. I think you know what I mean by that. People are like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. This is not railroad. You get out of there. You do not convert. You don't even need to be buying this house. The other half were like, how fortunate it is that your ancestors used to live in this place and now this is a place where you merely do recreation. I think I lean more to the first one. And there are other people, like a lot of black people in the comments were like, those spirits be hanging around and you want to go jog on the treadmill. And then there's a third
They'll
people.
grab your ankles.
Yes, and then you'll slide right off that treadmill, right into the weight stack, right up the ass. And then there's a third place that says they don't know if that's actually true.
Well, one, I don't know if it's true because I don't even know who these people are.
Allegedly.
Respectfully, have no idea who either one of them are. Me personally, I could not live. I'll use this as an example. I've been to a couple of weddings in my life that people have gotten married on plantations. And every time, the first time I didn't know what I was walking into, and I was like overwhelmed with like sadness. It's just weird.
But you didn't know?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Were you like, why am
I
I so sad?
No. Once I got there, I put 2 and 2 together, but I wasn't familiar with the venue before I got there.
Oh, okay.
It's just really hard to like have fun in a place where people were lynched, or to like be reminded of that every day.
Yeah.
Personally, I could not live in that space, but I will say I'm not one to like police the behaviors of other Black people. If you want to live there, that's your business.
Don't invite me over.
I don't want to go.
So it's a barn that he converted into a gym, but there's also a guest house. So this is the barn. I wouldn't think anything, because they bought the house in Tennessee. So like I'm like, oh, that's...
Of course they did.
I know. That's like I feel like a typical barn. However, this is the guest house, which is clearly a small little cabin.
That is not an Airbnb.
That's a slave home.
I don't want to be a guest. I don't want to sleep in that.
Maybe.
It's separately in the back of the property.
Exactly. That's crazy.
I don't like it.
And
the thing that people are getting mad about too is they said it's like they've sniffed out that people are saying that, and so they're rage baiting now with content about the farm and about the house. To which I say, take the account down.
I say all skin folk and kinfolk.
If you have the option, you have 3 options, right?
Me, Raven?
Yes, as a Black person.
Okay.
Would you rather, right or wrong, a Black person end up buying the property, a white person, or do you think, oh, just no one should buy it and it should just be like land? I mean, even though there are properties on it.
Black people should have the option to buy it if they want it, I guess. I don't want it.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying like there are people who will buy back their family
100%
to then be a Black person to buy another thing that you don't know.
No, because even like our family, we have a land that my mom and her sister or her siblings share that has been kept in the family, and it was like Black people didn't own land back then, so it's like really important to them to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that is different than like me going to some random plantation and being like, I'm gonna turn this into my podcast studio.
Yeah.
Like what?
Don't bring Rewind into it.
Like, no, thank you. Yeah. I would not feel comfortable doing that. I personally believe that all of those places should be like memorialized as like museums.
And you can go in there and touch all the plaques.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you can like hear about the stories of the people who live there and understand the history of our country. I don't think that they should be wedding venues and gyms.
That's the T. Take notes, Blake Lively. All that being said,
Speaking of Blake Lively,
I was going to say, moving on along, did you hear who unfollowed who?
I heard Travis KELCE unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram today.
They did. And they said there's allegedly a fight brewing between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, which makes me question, do you leave the friend when the news starts headlining, or did you know she was not fierce to begin with, and I
don't think that's why Taylor's leaving her high and dry.
What do you think?
I don't think it's because of that bad headlines. I will say what you want about Taylor. She seems like a loyal friend to people. Like, she seems like...
She's still friends with Abigail.
I was going to say, she's had the same friends for a really long time. I feel like she's the kind of girl that rides for her friends. This is a Blake problem. When she called her dragon... Game
girl, I forgot about
over.
That. Yes.
Like, not only are you using me, but you're trying to make me look stupid and like I'm at your beck and call. No. At that point, when someone like does that to you like that, you constantly looking at them like, are you my friend because you my friend, or are you my friend because I'm Taylor Swift?
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about you. Are you my friend because you're my friend, or because I'm Blake from Rewind the Podcast?
I knew you far before you were Blake from Rewind the Podcast.
And you said, and I'll send you right back down if you piss me off. That's true. I don't know. It's weird, but this is the thing. Taylor, after the tour, she really kind of did go away.
Yeah, good for her.
No, yeah, she needed the vacation, but like
she just not only needed, she deserved a vacation. Leave her alone.
This is the thing. One, we watched the trailer for The Summer I Turned Pretty. You should watch it. We reacted, but also I was like, I forgot. I looked at my office mates and I said, I forgot she was dating Travis KELCE.
Yeah, thank God.
I was like, what in the world?
I wish I could forget.
I know, Mr. I'll go visit the White House. And guess who did not?
Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. He said, thank you for the invitation. I will RSVP as declined.
Decline. I love that man so much.
He's so fine.
He's so fine. He just married his beautiful Black wife in a beautiful ceremony.
Not on a plantation.
And he declined his invitation to the White House. Mm-hmm. My thing is,
you know why? Because they said you're going to meet J.D. Vance too, and he said, I'm a Catholic. No, thank you.
I don't want to die. First of all. But also, I respect a man in particular, and a Black man especially, who's going to stand on business like that. Mm-hmm. I respect it. I see you. I love you.
He said, well, we just want to bridge the gap. You visiting the White House is not bridging anything.
No.
That's nothing. That has nothing bipartisan, nothing.
And that's my thing. If you have a problem with my people, you have a problem with me. Because you're not going to separate me from my community. Mm-hmm. So, like, nah. Could never be me.
Yeah.
So, love you, Jalen Hurts. I think you're amazing.
T. Anything else you want to talk about?
God, it's so hot. No.
Gabe, do you have anything?
My TikTok has been blowing up. I'll make it quick. This girl that's been going around the caveman method skincare.
Ew.
Can I, before you even finish, that's giving white girl putting mud on her face.
And don't take baths. And don't wash your legs.
Chelsea Handler.
You are exactly right, because she is a white girl. So she decided to get on the internet and post a video about how she used to pick her skin, all this stuff. So she wants to refresh her skin. So she has not washed her face, has not used any exfoliant, has not used water.
On her face?
At all.
How do you...
And is saying that this is a process that will eventually return new skin.
Baby, just use Proactive like everybody else. Girl, go to the hospital.
Is that her skin?
It's her skin. So here's the tea. So
that made me itch.
She's saying all of this. She keeps posting videos. Mind you, her caption is fun employed.
Girl, you doing this? I got no job.
No. How many followers does she have?
I don't know, because I'm not following her.
Okay, I was going to say, this is what it's given. If all those videos are over a minute long, she's in the TikTok creators program. She's using all the money. She's rage baiting. Don't watch it.
Well, just wait. There's more. So she's going on and on of like, literally everyone is duetting like, hey, you have a fungal infection on your face.
I'm sorry. Girl, you got a fungal infection on your face.
So she's deleting certain comments from dermatologists. However, today I saw this beautiful black dermatologist who came on and was like, let me talk about this, and was describing about things it could be. However, she was like, none of the mapping of the face of how this rash is, it doesn't accurately represent what it would look like in the real world. She's not having it in certain areas.
I was going to say, it was around the lips. It was free of the nose.
It's not under their eyes. It's also in, like, it's not in the hairline. It's very much
plaqued on.
So she's rage baiting. Everyone can eat my ass. I'm a professional yapper, but I be knowing twice a day at least. Rage bait, creator fun. Don't follow her. Let it die.
And so I wish I knew the dermatologist's name, but she was like, I don't know if I would necessarily believe all of these videos that this woman is putting out.
Why would you want to be the girl who doesn't wash her face?
Thank you.
Why would you ever want to be the girl who doesn't wash her face?
Be the girl who mukbangs. Be the girl who tries on clothes. Be fun. This is my life, fun employed. That's a meme right now.
Options.
Your unemployed friend on a Tuesday.
Like so many options. Like, and you choose to be the girl who doesn't wash her face. Get help.
Get help, and from a dermatologist.
That's a good way to close it out.
Oh my gosh, literally.
I'm sorry.
Can we just end on that?
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you. Sorry, I did that too early. He looked at me like, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Rewind the Podcast, alcohol-induced edition. If you want to listen to other episodes of Rewind the Podcast, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like podcasts. I'm not here to tell you what you like because you are a grown adult and you can make decisions for yourself. But hey, guess what? If you want to watch the podcast and see our beautiful faces, you can watch on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and sign up for alerts because literally this week alone, we are dropping 3 videos. Do not miss the heat. With all that being said, Raven.
Thank you so much for listening to our episode of Rewind the Podcast. Like Blake said, if you listen to us on Apple Music or Spotify, you should leave us 5 stars and a review. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Raven Dawson.
Gabe, you got anything?
I do. If you're coming to Nashville for a bachelorette party or just a party and you don't want the hassle of having to put it together, go to heybatchnash.com. Use code REWIND for 10% off your first party.
And I am chronically online. You can find me anywhere there's a social media site at Blake Rackley. And with all that being said, we'll see you
next week.
Next week. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Turn on the AC. Oh, my God.
Thanks for listening to Rewind the Podcast.
Rewind the Podcast is a Laurel Street production, hosted by Raven Dawson and Blake Rackley.
Rewind the Podcast is recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, and produced by Gabe Bryant.
Our theme song is Famous Nobodies, performed by Rackley.
Written by Blake Rackley and Matt Pingle and produced by David Spencer.
To contact Rewind the podcast about sponsorship, business inquiries, or just to say hey, please email thatrewindpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.